What you do on a regular basis will, in the end, determine both the results you achieve and the kind of person you are. Because of this, your daily schedule and routine need to be very carefully crafted, and you should also ask yourself on a regular basis whether or not your habits are assisting you in reaching new levels. A man is defined by the manner in which he conducts himself. Here are 5 habits that every man should incorporate into his life. The first thing every man should do to better himself is to start keeping detailed records of his progress toward his goals. I wish someone had told me this when I was younger, because I know now that it would have made a huge difference in my life, whether it be in the gym, with women, or in other areas. A few days later, you go to the gym and for some reason end up curling a bar that weighs 15 kilograms for 10 repetitions. Instead of thinking that you have made some progress only if you have a journal where you have been tracking your output, and where you have written down precisely what exercise you were doing, how much weight you lift for how many reps, and other helpful tips and information. You've probably heard that you should only compete against yourself and not other people, and this is the very definition of self-competition. This is the first step, and it's not specific to the gym. For instance, say you're trying to increase memberships, and it all comes down to numbers. Keep track of how many cold calls you made and how many you closed on a given day. Additionally, make a note of the things that worked and the things that didn't work while you were trying to make the sale. You may have noticed that over time, you were able to close more and more calls. Also, you may have noticed that your energy slowly gets better each day. This is a sign that you are getting better. This is the reason why some men go to the gym for 1 week and then stop going after that. When they look in the mirror, they simply don't see the muscles they've been working so hard to build, and they lose their motivation. However, if you have been keeping track of your progress, you do not necessarily need to see actual physical results in order to feel motivated just yet. A second piece of advice is to tackle the activity on your to-do list that is the most difficult to complete. For example, if in the early hours of the day the primary reason that we procrastinate is not because we take pleasure in being active or because we are lazy. Rather, it can be summed up in one word: fear. The reason that we procrastinate is that we are afraid of the task at hand, and this anxiety may originate from any number of different sources. You might think, for example, that the job is too big or too hard, or that you just don't understand how to do it. You need to get these kinds of difficult tasks out of the way first thing in the morning, because the longer you wait, the more excuses you will find to avoid actually completing the work. The third piece of advice should be something you already know. Don't bring your phone into the bedroom, especially if you've been working late. If you have been working late, you are more likely to. The fourth tip is to put your phone in Do Not Disturb mode or turn it off completely while working. Take a moment to reflect on all the times you sat down to work and ran through in your head the list of things you needed to accomplish during the time you set aside for that activity. However, when you hear the notification bell on your phone, you pick it up to respond to the message, but before you know it, you are already on Instagram just by mindlessly scrolling. You require more time than you know. This is the fundamental idea behind deep work. The idea of deep work can be used in almost any job, from being a student to being a doctor. You will find that you have to do the things on your schedule in the order they are written, and without putting them off. This is a very useful skill to have, and the fifth habit deals with the problem of the legal system. Because you never deal with the core issue, your life may be plagued with anxiety for a variety of reasons, one of which is that you never address the fundamental issue. How often do you hear men complain about their jobs, their wives, and their children? What actions have you taken to address these issues? This ties back into the masculine principle of don't complain, fix it, which can be summarized as don't be a whiner. This may sound harsh because we like to live in a feel-good state that is driven by our emotions, but if you want to move on and improve in your life, you will need to make decisions that might be challenging right now, but will pay off in the long run. For example, let's say you despise your job. What do you think the average person in that situation will do? It should come as no surprise that when he returns home, the first thing he brings up in conversation is the difficulties he is having. Has he considered changing careers to one that is more closely related to the things that interest him? 99% of the time, he is working toward his goal of getting the skills and experience he needs to get that new job, which would allow him to work less, make more money, and be happier. The answer to this question is no, and the reason for this is that you are far too preoccupied with griping and arguing with other people to even consider taking action regarding illegal matters. The same holds true for your marriage goals, physique goals, and so on. Whatever it is that you want to achieve in life, you can't beat around the bush like a nice guy. You need to take it head on, and you need to address the core issue. The same holds true for your plans regarding your marriage and your physical appearance. Now that I've finished, I'll see you in the next sentence. To support us, like this video, please subscribe, and make sure to send this video to the person who needs to hear it the most.